When governments crack down on news websites and digital platforms, it reflects a certain level of insecurity and weakness on their part. This latest move by the Indian government to ban 16 Pakistani YouTube channels reflects the same. Actually, the websites they have banned are not your usual troll farms or platforms which peddle all sorts of conspiracy theories. These are news websites mostly run by private media houses in Pakistan. Some of them belong to prominent journalists in Pakistan. Now, Indian audience should have access to this point of view. They may discard it. They may say it's contrary to what they believe. But access should be given. Of course, the Indian government feels that questions are being asked about failure of security in Kashmir. The narrative coming from Pakistan may be causing difficulty for them. But the way to tackle it is obviously if you believe in your own narrative, then you let it play out in public domain. By banning it, the Indian government has shown that it does not want its citizens to be exposed to Pakistan's point of view or the perceptions in Pakistan, and that does not augur well for a country which claims to be the biggest democracy in the world. So this is not the first time the Indian government has banned content from Pakistan. They did it before a few years ago when tensions flared up between the two countries, and they have done it from time to time, cracking down on legitimate criticism and dissent within the country. And as a result, we have seen growing censorship in India, and they invoke all sorts of laws. They regulate the IT companies, the big tech. They force them to comply with local laws. And the Modi government's intolerance for criticism is also evident from the way it treats international media. For example, the BBC has been at the receiving end of Modi government for running documentaries, for questioning its handling of, for example, COVID, Gujarat riots, and then most recently their coverage of the attack in Kashmir. I understand that the BBC has been asked, for example, why do they call these so-called attackers militants and not terrorists? Now, the Indian government can call them terrorists because it believes so, but the BBC as an international organization prefers to refer to them as militants because it does not want to apply a value judgment. And most countries would tolerate that. But the fact that the Modi government is going after the BBC, asking for explanation, monitoring its content so closely, only shows how intolerant it is towards any narrative which does not conform with the official view. I'm not entirely sure whether countries in South Asia look to India to set a precedent. Of course, when India claims to be the biggest democracy in the world, it has to match its words, but it doesn't, and it hasn't. Especially during the Modi government, we have seen growing authoritarianism. We have seen that the government wants a majoritarian Hindu rule, the way dissent has been suppressed, the way journalists have been taken to task, the way corporate media has been taken over. So while it can claim that it is a democracy, but we've seen over the years how institution after institution has been taken over by the Modi machinery. And so Pakistan, Bangladesh and other countries, they aren't really looking to India for any democratic inspiration. In Pakistan, citizens are fighting for their own fundamental rights and freedoms on their own merit, not necessarily because India is seen as a beacon of democracy. In fact, the way the Indian government has curtailed democratic rights in Kashmir and across the country calls into question whether the Indian democracy is failing and where is the country heading. In Pakistan, we have our own battles, for freedom of expression, for dissent, for right to criticize the government. And yes, our government is no better. It has also brought all sorts of laws to curtail free speech, but the struggle continues.